Rust 1.56 has been released, and with it comes the new Rust 2021 edition. A new edition is a pretty big deal. It allows users of Rust to opt into breaking changes. A new edition typically comes out once every 3 years, so it doesn't happen all too often. The last edition came out back in 2018. Because the breaking changes of an edition are opt-in, existing code will just continue to work, which is important because Rust is keen on ensuring programs will continue to compile file. So what's new in this edition? Here's some cool things you can now do, which you couldn't do before. Rust borrow checker got smarter. It can now reason about individual fields and structs, rather than treating structs as a single unit. Before Rust 2021, it could be pretty frustrating to use individual struct fields. If you attempted to borrow one field, it meant you'd attempt to borrow all the fields. But in the new edition, the compiler is smart enough to understand whether what you're doing is safe and allow you to just, use the one field. This means that programs that previously, you might have expected to work, but the compiler rejected, will now suddenly be accepted, which is nice and makes working with the borrow checker easier. Try from, try into, and from iterator are now part of the Prelude. That means in the new edition, you no longer need to manually import these traits in order to use them, which makes converting between types just a little bit easier. Arrays now implement IntoIterator. This allows us to iterate over arrays directly in for loops, where before we had to jump through hoops to make things work. This saves a bunch of keystrokes. It also allows us to use arrays directly where from iterator is expected. For example, we can now convert an array directly into a hash map, where before we'd have to do a bunch of annotations or multiple calls. It now becomes a convenient one-liner. To see everything that's new in the edition, check out the release blog post. In order to upgrade to the new edition, you can start by running rustup update, then run cargo fix -- edition, and finally update the version field in your cargo toml to 2021. And that's it. Happy Rust 2021, everyone.